Hello, my friends. As for the news, there is not much to cheer about yet. The White House has even said that Trump's patience is wearing thin. As President Trump rightly pointed out, it was Obama who gave up Crimea by allowing Russia to seize it back in 2014. And the president is not asking Ukraine to recognize Crimea. No one is asking them to do that. He wants them to come to the negotiation table with an understanding that this war has gone on too long. And in a good deal, both sides should feel a little dissatisfied. Unfortunately, Zelensky is trying to conduct peace talks through the press, which is unacceptable to the president. These talks must be held behind closed doors. The president's national security team has spent a lot of time and energy trying to end this war. American taxpayers have invested billions into it, and that's enough. The president is disappointment. His patience is about to run out. He wants to do what's right for the world. He wants peace. He wants the killing to stop, but both sides need to want that too. Sadly, Zelensky seems to be heading in the wrong direction. And now we have new details about the negotiations. It's been confirmed that Ukraine put forward a demand to immediately cease fire before moving on to negotiations. But we remember that Putin was completely opposed to that. He first wanted to understand the terms under which the war would end, who gets what territory, and then agreed to a ceasefire. Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha said there was a constructive exchange of views with U.S. Special Representative General Keith Kellogg about the path to peace. Presidential Chief of Staff Yermak emphasized that Ukraine's delegation insisted a full, immediate, and unconditional ceasefire must be the first step toward negotiations for a fair and lasting peace. And Trump harshly condemned Zelensky for refusing to agree to give Crimea to Russia. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is proudly featured on the front page of the Wall Street Journal, saying that Ukraine will never legally recognize the occupation of Crimea. There is nothing to talk about here, he says. This statement is extremely harmful to the peace negotiations with Russia because Crimea was lost many years ago under the watch of President Barack Hussein Obama. It's not even up for discussions anymore. No one is asking Zelensky to recognize Crimea as Russian territory. But if he wants Crimea so badly, why didn't they fight for it 11 years ago when it was handed over to Russia without a single shot being fired? That area had also hosted large Russian submarine bases for many years before Obama's handover of power. Statements like Zelensky's are exactly what makes ending this war so difficult. He has nothing to boast about, and the situation for Ukraine is dire. He can either make peace or keep fighting for another 3 years and risk losing the entire country. I have no ties to Russia, but I am deeply motivated by a desire to save the roughly 5,000 Russian and Ukrainian soldiers who are dying each week for no reason at all. Zelensky's statement today will lead only to more battlefield bloodshed, and no one wants that. We are very close to a deal, but the man who holds no cards must finally bring this to a close. I look forward to helping both Ukraine and Russia get out of this complete mess, a mess that would never have started if I had been president. Friends, your opinion on this really matters. Do you support continuing the war or do you want peace on Trump's terms? Please share your thoughts in the comments. But Zelensky continues to fight for Crimea and other territories. To make his point, he showed a statement from the Trump administration back in 2018 in which the US reaffirmed its support for Ukraine's full sovereignty. It's been an emotional day, but it's a good thing that five countries sat down together to work toward peace: Ukraine, the US, the United Kingdom, France, and Germany. Each party expressed its position and respectfully acknowledged the views of the others, said the president. Zelensky emphasized the importance of each country not just showing up, but contributing meaningfully. He also posted a screenshot of the Crimea declaration, a statement from then Secretary of State Mike Pompeo during Trump's first administration in 2018, in which the US refused to recognize any Kremlin claims to territory seized by force in violation of international law. Still, that likely won't change Trump's mind. Meanwhile, it's reported that Vitkov will visit Russia again on the 25th, and most likely he will deliver the results of the negotiations to Putin. After that, it should become clearly how events will unfold. Following those talks, Peskov gave an interview to a French magazine.
All military analysts agree that the initiative on the battlefield is currently on Russia's side. Russian forces are continuing and will continue to carry out the special military operation. Even before February 2022, we aimed to resolve the matter peacefully. At that time, Putin proposed starting negotiations. Today, there are discussions about peace with the Americans, but the Europeans insist on war, while we intend to achieve our objectives. Whether through peaceful means or military ones, we will achieve them.
Are they not ready yet?
Not yet. Our objectives remain the same. They have been clearly defined.
What are those objectives?
The security of one country should not come at the expense of another's security. If you want to guarantee Ukraine's security by dragging it into NATO, you are thereby undermining Russia's security. Ukraine must have a neutral status. In addition, there must be recognition of territorial realities.
At the same time, Ukraine has decided to strike Crimea. Late last night, reports came in about explosions in Novofedorivka and the Saki district. Russians claimed that drones were flying over Crimea, and during the night, it was reported that at least 10 caliber missiles were launched at Ukrainian territory. So the exchange of strikes continues. Now let's turn to the situation on the front lines, starting with the Pokrovsk direction, where the Russians are pushing the defense as hard as they can. Today they continue attacks on Novoalexandrivka, attempting to break through toward Novomykolаivka. They're also trying to advance toward Udachne, and fighting is ongoing near Shevchenko. They are storming Chunishine, pushing toward the highway, and the battles for Lysivka, Sukha Yar, Myrolюбівка, and Malynivka are still raging. They are also attacking Yelizavetivka and trying to expand the area they control near the road. At the same time, bad news is starting to come in from this area. Russian sources claim they've captured Tarasivka. Cartographers have already marked this territory in red. If confirmed, the advance would amount to roughly 1 kilometer 800 meters, which is significant. For now, we are waiting for verification. The Russians published a video showing them allegedly raising their flag in Tarasivka, but the Ukrainian side has yet to comment on the situation, so we'll keep watching for updates. In the Kurakhove direction, the Russians remain highly active and are trying to storm Kotlyarivka, Preobrazhenka, and Troitske. They're also pushing toward Oleksiivka, the village of Bogatyr, and Odradne. The attacks on Constantinople also continue, but there have been no changes in the past 24 hours. The Russians have been unable to hold any new positions. Meanwhile, the Russians are pounding Bogdanivka with fab bombs, and new geolocation videos have appeared online confirming these strikes. They are trying to destroy all Ukrainian forces' positions in the area to push further. In the area near Velika Novosilka, the Russians are pushing forward Vilna Pole and Novosilka, carrying out shelling in the process. However, activity here is relatively low, and there have been no changes along the front line over the past 24 hours. In the Zaporizhzhia direction, the Russians continue to assault Militia Baki and Stepove and are trying to break through around the area of Lobkove. According to the latest reports, the Russians have already captured this village, though we are still awaiting confirmation from the Ukrainian side. In the Kherson direction, the Russians continue shelling the right bank of the Dnipro. They're actively using both artillery and FPV drones. It's important to note that yesterday 9 people were killed and 30 were injured in a drone strike on a bus in Marhanets. Strikes there continue almost daily, both in Nikopol and Marhanets, making the situation extremely difficult. Now moving on to the Toretsk direction, here the Russians continue assaulting Sherbinivka, Toretsk, Dachne, and are pushing forward near Druzhba. In the south, Russian forces have taken control of Sukha Balka. As a reminder, on the 18th, they captured Valentinivka. And now, 5 days later, Sukha Balka has also fallen. This shows their continued gradual advance. Additionally, they've made progress through the fields towards Stara Mykolaiivka and have started pushing into the village itself. So further issues may arise here soon. Ukrainian forces are having to gradually retreat, while Russian activity remains at a very high level. In the Chasiv Yar direction, attacks are ongoing near the Novopivnichny district. There are also fighting in Stupochki, and Russian forces are trying to advance toward Bilhorod. No territorial changes have occurred over the past 24 hours, but the situation remains difficult, and the Russians are trying to break through our defenses here as well, aiming to reach Kostantinivka more quickly. In the Siversk direction, activity remains slow. Attacks continue on Grigorivka and Verkhnyokamyansk, but there have been no changes over the past day. In the Kreminna direction, Russian forces are assaulting Kolodizy and pushing toward the village of Glushenkova, as well as storming Novomykhailivka. Although Russian sources recently claimed they had already taken the village, there have been no confirmed changes over the past 24 hours. Still, the situation here remains extremely tense. Further north, attacks continue on Olhivka, and it's evident that the Russians are gradually gaining ground in this sector, with changes being recorded more frequently. In the Borova direction, the Russians are assaulting Bohuslavka, Nova Krugliakivka, and once again pushing toward Novosergiyevka, while also attacking the village of Nadia. However, Ukrainian forces continue to hold the line effectively, and the Russians haven't been able to secure new positions thus far. In the Kupiansk direction, the situation remains calm for now, with no new assaults by Russian forces. Their previous attacks were unsuccessful, so the front line remains unchanged. In the Kharkiv direction, shelling of Kharkiv continues, but there are no offensive actions. Around Vovchansk, Russian forces are also not conducting any new attacks at this time. In the Belgorod direction, the Russians continue shelling border villages in Sumy region. Meanwhile, in the Kursk direction, Russian troops are still carrying out up to 20 assaults per day, trying to clear the forested border area and push Ukrainian forces completely out of Russian territory. Fighting is still ongoing there, but currently no settlements on Russian soil remain fully under Ukrainian control. the Kursk operation has effectively come to an end. And that's all from me. So please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.